So I'm going to call on the next panel session. The conversation is around public relations in the digital era, managing reputations and building influence. And to moderate that conversation, Dr. Tenny Oyewole will be moderating the session. A round of applause as she takes on the stage. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. More like kids. My name is Tenny Oyewole, and I will be the moderator for this session. Interestingly, I have powerful women on my panel, and I will just call them out. First on my list, I have Lynda Aguocha. Please clap, please clap, please clap, please clap. Lynda is the founder of Live with Lynda, a creative appraisal platform, and head of advertising and PR at Aspira Nigeria Limited, where she helped position Viva Plus as Nigeria's leading detergent. A skilled brand and marketing strategist, she brings expertise in ad analysis, brand consulting, and content creation. With a mass communication background and experience in media and marketing, she has led major campaigns at Mountain Place and Agile Communications. Live with Lynda is now a trusted hub for celebrating creativity and promoting excellence in advertising, branding, and the marketing communications industry. Wow, wow, wow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The next person I'm going to call is Oluremi Martins. Clap, please. Oluremi Martins is the founder of Texture Science Labs, a next-gen air lab creating the future of air extensions like the one I have on. She has built and scaled DTC beauty brands like Natural Girl Wigs and Regirl, serving over 30,000 women in 70-plus countries. Our work has earned recognition from Essence Magazine as a top destination for black hair. A Standard Chartered Women in Tech finalist, she contributes to the Alliance for E-Trade and USAID initiatives supporting MSME e-commerce in Africa. Remy is passionate about ethical manufacturing, air innovation, and advancing global trade across the African continent. Welcome to my panel. The last but not the least, on this panel, I'll be introducing Oreoluwa Atinmoand. She's the marketing director at GB Foods Nigeria. She's a results-driven marketing leader, currently serving as marketing director at GB Foods Nigeria, where she oversees brand strategy and category growth. Formerly regional category manager for GB Foods Africa, she led taste enhancer brands across 24 countries. Her career spans Shell, Heineken, and GB Foods, transitioning from engineering to marketing. Oreoluwa holds a first class from the University of Nottingham, a master's from Imperial College London. She's passionate about nation building and women's empowerment, and actively contributes to WIMBIZ's mission and marketing excellence in Africa. Please, a round of applause for the powerful, amazing women on my panel. My first question for you is, from a multinational brand perspective, how has your expectations from influencers and media partnerships evolved in the digital age?
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let me say this, and I think I will continue the conversation from the first panel, which was very interesting, by the way, quite engaging. Let me talk about the gates being broken and translate it to what it means for multinationals. What that means is, for us as multinationals, brand custodians, I like to tell my team you're a brand custodian. It means influence is no longer exclusive. Let me take that again. Influence is no longer exclusive. Anybody that has a ring light, hair bonnet, microphone, or a keyboard that can type is your influencer. And that's the honest truth. What that means is that previously it took maybe decades to build reputations and probably decades to destroy one. Now, in 24 hours, a reputation can be birthed or marred. So I think that's what it means. And if I translate that to, the daily actions or the things that we do cautiously, is being very aware. We can no longer focus on only who we think are our influencers. Yeah. So I think that's the summary.
I would like your perspective also, Lynda. What is your expectation from the media partnerships and influencer campaigns, obviously, that you've been running? How has it evolved in this new age of media?
Thank you very much. Like she said, it's crazy because almost everybody is an influencer now, right? So it just means that we have to be more careful when we choose our partners and people we want to work with, right? So before it's, I think before it's easy. You can celebrities are, how do I put it? There are people you can really hold accountable. Most of them are very talented. And if you say, oh, I want to work with this person, what you see most of the time is what you get. But now, things have evolved. So before you even choose a celebrity, you need to think deeply and make sure that you choose the right person. Because with the social media and internet age, somebody who is obviously very nice today, tomorrow, because of oversharing, sometimes they don't even do it on purpose, you get, but as they overshare, before you know it, they've said something or they've done something and it's affecting your brand. So now we really take time to search and say, oh, does this person align with my brand? Is this person going to be able to maintain this brand that the person has from now till like 10 years or whenever our contract ends? So I think that's how we've been able to evolve in terms of, selection mainly. Yes.
Yeah, I was really going to dive deep into the selection, especially from women like you that work with multinationals and how you select influencers. But let me come to Oluremi. It's so amazing to meet you. I wanted to ask you, as the co-founder of Oreoluwa, from the transition from natural girls to Regirl and all of that, how do you decide influencers or UGC content that truly align with your brand values?
We actually did something that is, I would say, one of its kind. Recently, when we were launching into our brand, our new brand name, Regirl, it was important for us to really center our customers. And typically when brands would launch product or a new brand or things like that, influencers, celebrities are typically at the focal point of how you are communicating and things. But for us, we decided to actually make it a community event of actual customers. So we have an Instagram channel where we just sent a message to people and we're like, you know what? We're introducing an upgraded version of our product. You guys have supported us over the years and we want you to be the first people to experience and see this before anyone else. So we did what we called a community town hall where we invited our actual customers. There were about 20% influencers, but they were actually influencers that buy our product. They applied to come. We didn't pick most of the influencers because we didn't want it to be an influencer event. And so that was very interesting for me. I had my ideas of how I wanted the brand events to go or the town hall. But to be honest, it exceeded expectations and it showed me more than anything that, as she said, everybody's an influencer. Your community, your customers are actually your influencers as well because it's word of mouth, just talking. And even the customers online also want to see from actual customer perspective as well. So when we did that event, it was showing our customers the upgrades over the years, how we started, where we are now, what we did to make that change and what inspired that change. And we also gave them the product to actually test to where we took their first impressions. So for me, I feel that's a new kind of way to tap into influence of a community that you already have, and also for the community you have who is not there to hear from people who are actually spending their money to buy their product. So seeing the success of that event, it's something that I want to consistently tap into. And this is not also neglecting influencers because they still have their power. but like the influence that is coming from like your actual paying customers is a whole new level, and that's something that we will continue to like tap into.
Amazing. Do we have influencers in the house? Influencers, say hi. That's interesting to hear. So you're saying that for your brand, you focus on community-based influence that later converts to actual customers.
Yes, that's something that we are sort of like redirecting, not even testing, to be honest, because we relaunched in, I think it's less than 2 months now, and we've actually not done any kind of paid advertisement.
Wow.
It's mostly been based off that community event, people speaking to their friends, us publishing things that our actual customers had to say about the product, and that's just like going round and round. We'll obviously still do advertisement and influencer partnerships, but we want to see what the product is doing, being told by like actual customers, right? And even when you talk about UGC, there are videos I'm seeing from actual customers that we are then reaching out to them to say, oh, we love this video you made for our product, we want to buy it and then use it for promotions, right? Because now people are engaging UGC creators to make ads for them and all of that, but like there's just this authenticity that comes from someone that was truly excited to get packaged, and they're getting into it. And so it's like, even when you want to work with influencers, like the influencers that even, like when she said aligns with you, people who are like, for example, she's wearing our product, by the way, and she's actually brought us a lot of customers, like just her like saying, oh, someone saw this on me, they want to buy it as well. So just tapping into people who already like you, people who already love you, it's easier to work with them. They are users of the product. You can then leverage what they already have going on in terms of like the storytelling, the authenticity of it, and then use that as a form of advertising.
Amazing.
If I may add now. Tenny.
Oh, you wanted to add something?
Yes, I wanted to add. What she's saying is actually the future of influencer marketing. It's not like influencers are going to go extinct, but that's majorly what a lot of companies are considering now, even ours. Like, use your customers as your influencers. Because why pay people to use your products when you have people who already use your products who can help you influence other people to use? So that's the future.
Amazing.
Actually. Yeah.
I wanted to hear Ore's point of view. First, congratulations on the Bama mix. Yeah,
Shawarma mix.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
From your point of view, what do you see? Like, how do you decide your influencers? Of course, from the Bama arm of the company, and I know you have Hilda Basi and Two-Face as your ambassadors. What do you look out for as a marketing director when you want to choose influencers for campaigns or sign actual ambassadors to represent the brand? You want to know, don't you, influencers?
So let me say this. I think marketing is one profession where everybody has an opinion. Let me start from there. Can we be real with ourselves?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
When it comes to business presentations and the finance director is presenting, everybody is quiet. When the technical director is presenting, everybody is quiet.
True.
I was an engineer, I would know. But when the marketing director comes to present, everybody has an opinion. I mean, rightly or wrongly, everybody is a consumer at the end of the day, right? So let me start by talking about Hilda. You see, the idea of just using established influencers is the big mistake that many brands use. Many years ago, it was a given that some of these people touch your brands and immediately you get conversion, sales immediately. From Tiwa Savage using techno to many other examples, which we know is not true, it's not authentic.
We're shaking tables.
Yeah, let's shake the tables and be honest with ourselves, right? And then you now have, everything has now evolved to exactly what everybody here has said. In terms of, why must you go for those who are high up there? There are many other people. We live in a content creation economy.
Yeah.
There are many other people who are going to be cheaper, who are going to be more excited about your brand. People want to hear from more relatable people. GB Foods as a company and Gino as a brand believes in building talent. We don't wait until people have made it in life before we support and partner them. In Hilda's case, I happened to be in Ghana at the time. I was working on the region. And I was just scrolling aimlessly on, online. And then I saw this young girl, I think she had done a video then where she was like, oh, I'm going for this and that. And I just sent it to the Nigerian team. And I said, guys, this looks like something. Let's support her. Let's give her our full backing. Just because that's what we do as a brand. Just because that's our core value. Now, did we think it was going to blow up the way it did? Absolutely not. Will there be another Hilda Basi? Probably not. Did she even anticipate, she herself, did she anticipate that level of success? Probably not. So sometimes you have these gut feelings that you just follow. That is the case of Hilda, right? And of course, since then, we have always worked with Hilda. It's a symbiotic relationship, and that's that, right? For Baba, that is the more controversial one. In fact, I had some marketing directors call me and say, because it's a small world, it's a small community. When I see their adverts out there too, I call them and I say, guy, what are you doing? So the amount of calls I got,
I would have called you too.
So that's why I started by saying everybody has an opinion, right? So there are times that, okay, maybe you as the marketing person may not believe strongly in something, but because it's backed for different reasons, right? You put your weight behind it and you support it. But that said, Bama is an iconic brand. Baba is an iconic brand as well. So it was a no-brainer that two icons come together to make something big. Fine, you can challenge, does he use mayonnaise, all of that. We get these questions. It's not new. But the thinking behind it was an iconic brand partnering with an iconic legend.
Amazing, amazing. So let's talk money, right? From the brand's point of view and from the influencer's point of view. I want Lynda to take that. What are the key factors you consider when determining pricing and value for influencer partnerships? Of course, from the Viva detergent point of view, you've signed really big influencers and also done a lot of marketing campaigns that have also been on. What's the determining factor for pricing and putting value on influencers?
Okay, so I think we look at the qualitative factors and then the quantitative factors. Quantitative, I would say the numbers. We look at the numbers. How many followers do you have? What's your engagement rate? Because engagement is very, very important. You might have a lot of followers, but you don't really engage. They're not engaging with your posts. That means you're not that means you don't have a strong influence. So a micro influencer with 10% engagement rate can do better for you than a big influencer with just 0.5% engagement rate. So we check all of that before we pay. That determines how much we pay. But most importantly, like I said earlier, we don't joke with brand alignment. Does this person align with our brand? So even if the person is a small influencer or a micro influencer and the person is charging a big amount of money, if we feel like it's important for this person to align with our brand, we would pay. I'll give an example. When we signed Chateau Garko, I don't know if you know her, former Miss Nigeria, she just had like 9,000 or not up to 10,000 followers. But because she won Miss Nigeria and she was the first hijabi queen in the world, and as at that time, we were looking for an influencer that can help us carry the northern market, because we have influencers all over Nigeria, but there was no one that was speaking specifically to the north. So when we saw her, beautiful girl, she's down to earth, our brand's aligned with ours. When we wanted to pay, they didn't tell us pay micro influencer money, because at that time she was Miss Nigeria. And we paid the money, even though we still had to promote that, oh, this is Miss Nigeria on our billboards. We still pay because the brand alignment was there. So for us, brand alignment is very key. You need to be, and then your engagement rate, how you're able to exert influence, how you're able to, what about the quality of your content is also very important to us. And then the work ethics as well. This is something that people don't talk about much, but there are some influencers that will do anything to work with. If they come back and say, oh, we need to increase our money, I would fight for it. You know why? Because I love the way they work. They're professional. They put your heart, they put your mind into the work you get. So those are the things, we consider before we pay.
Influencers, can you hear that?
Yes.
your work ethics very important.
I just want to add to what she said when she talked about engagement. And I think now that everything can be bought, one thing we do is that beyond just checking, okay, maybe you put out a post, you have maybe 1,000 likes or 2,000, 5,000, whatever it is. She said 10%. We even look at 3 to 5% in terms of authentic engagement. Because, first of all, people don't understand the impact on their algorithm when they buy these things. Yeah. So you don't do yourself a favor, especially for brands that are very detailed and will go into the numbers. You buy followers, you have 100,000, okay. But you go to your engagement 0, then you say, okay, I need to be paying for every post to get my likes to. But when it's very easy to tell if you do have a follower base from the quality of the comments. You can't buy comments.
Yes.
You can't buy comments. You can buy followers, you can buy likes, you can buy, I don't know. You can't buy comments. And that's why more and more we're looking at the comments, we're looking at the conversations, even beyond the numbers.
So for you, Ore, how do you measure, when I say you, of course, GB Foods, how do you measure the ROI of your partnerships or digital PR, influencer campaigns in a market like Nigeria? What would you see as your metrics that you would say, oh, this was a successful launch, this was a successful influencer campaign that you did?
So, I think ROI in marketing is one conversation that everybody talks about. Unfortunately, it's not as straightforward as sales. Let's be real. It's not as straightforward as if I run a trade promotion and I do a buy 2 get 1 free or something like that. I can get the numbers immediately. For marketing and to convert to sales is slightly different, especially when you don't have an e-commerce website. So if I was selling earrings or jewelries, for instance, and I can direct you to my website, then immediately I know that if I ran this campaign, 1,000 people visited my website and this and that. So to answer your question, how do we, will I say measure, given this? I would say, first of all, the quality of the engagements that come online, right? Then by the time you put it out, the comments will always tell you. We do not ignore the comments. This is when people will tell you, oh, I saw this and I used it and I tried it. Oh, I liked it, oh, I did not like it. Oh, this and that. Oh, I looked for it, I didn't find it. This is why. So this is the only thing that can tell us, right? And of course, when you put on top of that traditional media, then it's converted to sales. So this is a simple answer.
Or back to you. Before it was Regal, because I remember that's how I found your brand. I found it on Instagram. It used to be natural girl hair. All my afros, I used to buy it from it. And you started to... I think you were the first brand that I saw from social media that did the lab texture hair, if I'm right. When you were running your marketing campaign, because from your conversation, you said that now you're making it community-based, right? What did you measure? What was your ROI for measuring your campaigns that you were running? Because it was quite heavy at some points.
Yeah. So for us, it was like we were introducing something to people. Sorry. We were introducing something to people and we wanted people to get us. Like at the beginning, it wasn't really about like how many sales. These sales came, but we weren't really measuring for that. We were measuring for awareness, the excitement, the reshares, how excited people were to talk about it, right? And for us, I think that's like what truly makes what we do different, that people are like really happy to tell their friends or to tell people in their stories that, oh, I just found this brand, I'm really excited about what they do. So we wanted that, and that was what we were really optimizing for at that point. Another thing we're also optimizing for was just sort of like industry recognition as well. So like if you're creating something, aside from like the consumers, you want the industry to also sort of like pay attention to you because there's some sort of like ROI on that as well. So we're just like, those were like the touch points for us in terms of like recognition, in terms of like talkability, reshares, like, and all of that. And that's sort of like press in this modern age because like you might not have like CNN carrying your story, but if you create like a truly compelling storytelling video, it gets a lot of reshares. People talk about it, people share it, and that gives you a lot of reach. So for us, we were optimizing for that more than sales. On the sales end of things, that also brought a lot of sales. So you find that if you have like a viral video, many people are excited to, you know what, let me buy, let me try, let me just see what the fuss is about. But at the very like top of what we were optimizing for, it was reach, it was recognition, and it was also like to distinguish ourselves from like everyone else.
Amazing. So we can tell that everyone measures their ROI differently according to how your campaign is tailored or what the goal is for that campaign. Let's talk about media partnerships for multinationals. So either Lynda or Ore can take that. So from your experience, how can corporate brands partner more intentionally with the media industry to shape narratives around trust, quality, and purpose?
Okay. Well, I think first of all, both parties have to do their part. The media, the influencers, the creators, they have to do their part, and then the brand too have to do their own part. Now, for us, for the brands, I think the best thing is, first of all, to treat your content creators or your media partners as partners and not as a transactional situation or piece. Do you understand? You just go there, take posts. No, that's not how it should work. Now we should try as much as possible to partner. Like instead of telling them to post, let's work together. Can we create a story that will resonate well with your audience? Instead of just post. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then we should bring the content creators closer, like share our goals, share our intentions for the campaign, share the reason, so that they are into it, and then they can be able to come up with stories that can better sell, the brand. Then for content creators and media partners, they need to be more invested in what they are selling. It's not some of them just take it like, it's just, let me just
take
put
your
it
money
out there, They're not putting their heart into it. And with social media, your audience see when you are not invested in something. So you need to be invested in whatever brand you're working with and not make it's just about the money. No. So when you're invested, your audience will see it and they will feel the authenticity and they will want to work with you more. Then for brands again, I think we should also try as much as possible to create value also for the content creators, and not just money. They should be happy to work with you. I have my ambassadors. If I tell them we want to shoot even something that is beyond the contract, they'll be like, yes, please, let's do it. Do you know why? Because they feel like the campaign is also impacting their brand. I mean, look at what GB Food is also doing with Hilda right now. Hilda is happy because they are using her to the fullest. She has her face on the cubes, and all of that. She can see that they respect her and she respects the brand, back. So that's how it should be. So we shouldn't be treating content creators and influencers as if, they
it's
are
transactional. Do
you understand? I have one of my ambassadors complaining about another brand recently saying, they just think that we are like their staff. Sales is going bad. Oh, what do you do? That's not how it's done. It's like a mutual relationship. You sit down, you talk about it. And then also, both parties should come together and analyze results of every campaign. What did we do well? What fell flat? There's sometimes I call my ambassadors, and before I even say it, they'll be like, Lynda, I know, that last post, I know. Don't worry, I'll do something else. They should be happy to work with you. It's a partnership. Yeah, so I think if we put all of those things together and we work, it will help. Yeah.
What about you? Please don't forget that I'll be taking questions very soon. You agree? Mm-hmm. Okay. So like I said, as a talent manager that books a lot of influencers or content creators for corporate brands and music labels, I always advise now for creators to sell something, either products or services. Just sell something. We are now in the age where you should put your influence behind something. Aside from working for the brands, we should know you with something, either it's a service or a product. Okay, for Remy, how can professionals in media and influencing marketing leverage their experience to launch and scale businesses? Because you're a business owner.
I sort of have a controversial take on this. I don't think everybody should sell because
I agree.
yeah, I don't think everybody should sell because even like because I've worked with a lot of influencers. Like, we've worked with influencers in the US, in the UK, Australia. With natural girls especially, we're selling to like black women all over the world. So we work with quite a lot of influencers. And it's very clear when you see influencers that try to sell a product because they think, oh, I checked my commission for this brand. I sold 100 items for them in 1 week. So it means that my audience will buy if I start selling too.
Oh, that's the sales that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then they launch it and it falls flat, right? Because there's just so much to business than you selling, than you brand storytelling, that it's a lot of operational work, it's a lot of efficiency and being able to build that. I think that Nigerian influencers and perhaps maybe even African influencers are still very untapped when it comes to what they can extract from what they do. But I think it's because they think about it in terms of, I should do this, not let me find people who have this expertise that I can work with. I don't also, maybe there's also not that infrastructure yet in Nigeria, because there are companies and like, they call them incubators, right, abroad, who find influencers that match a certain identity and they launch products with them. So products like Naturium, the skincare, it's an influencer-owned brand. You have like lots of them, like the Kardashians, their brands are like in collaborations with like Emma Grade, like all these people. They build the systems and then, not like the influencers are not putting anything, but they don't have to worry about the day-to-day,
Yeah, that's
right? So I think that I really would want someone to create things like that in Nigeria, because even aside from influencers, I think a lot of our actual big celebrities are untapped. Like, what are they leveraging their influence with? So I think that except you have a system, I don't think you should go into it. Because the thing with launching product or services is that you are banking on the credibility you've built over the years, right? And if you're not really a business person, what happens if, for example, Hilda launches her own Maggie company and something happens with product development messes up? She's going to squander all of that goodwill that she's built over the years, right? But launching something with Juno, for example, they handle the product development. They know what the market actually wants. It's not the people in Hilda's comments that are really like, that really know the things that, Mama Gechi needs to make soup for all of those things. So I think it's super important that people are thinking about it. Not saying that they shouldn't start businesses or services, but it needs to be from who are the experts in this place? What can I do? And if you want to build the expertise yourself as well, you need to actually put in the work and then combine that with your credibility instead of like just like going into it.
So I wanted to rephrase what I was saying. So exactly what you said is what I meant by putting your influence behind something, like what Lynda said. Not just doing a one-time post and going. We should have more conversations in terms of our campaigns and partnerships. Affiliate marketing, like what you're doing with Hilda, that's more long-term than just do this campaign, it's a one-off and we go. Even if I'm not a brand ambassador, I have, like that's what you do outside Nigeria. I have this influence, or I can influence this number of people. How can we strike a deal? Like you said, I don't want to do the manufacturing from zero, right? Someone else is doing it. I want to be the face of the brand, or I want to increase the sales for this brand. You guys handle production, I do the marketing, and we collaborate and do more.
Yeah, so sorry I didn't answer.
That's fine.
But, so I think that at the end of the day, just doing things in a way that is not necessarily traditional as well.
Yes.
So for example, you got our product, you like it, your friend are always asking, and I saw the DM where you were like, you know what, do you guys have like an affiliate here? Because I'm always recommending it to people. I think influencers as well, I think that you can also pitch yourself. There are products that you truly love, you use every day. You can pitch yourself to the brand as well and say, oh, this is something I use. I have angles for how we could sell this. I have angles for how I can talk about this online in a way that I feel like your brand ambassadors have not tapped into yet. I mean, I know that people say people steal ideas and all of that, but I also think that
just try.
Yeah, I also think ideas are dime a dozen, right? So just because you're thinking of something doesn't mean another person isn't thinking of it as well. But I think the way you execute is also important. And I also think that influencers have stopped influencing. So I go to an influencer's page and the only thing I see is ads, right? So when was the last time you genuinely just talked to your audience about something you found, that you liked, that you used, that you know, like, So like, where is the
And
influence?
they don't want to influence for
exactly.
free.
Where is the actual influence? So if I want to pay for a billboard, like goddamn, I'm going to pay for a billboard, right? Because it's just advertising. But I think the idea of people genuinely influencing, people forget how this industry started, is people finding things, showing people how to do things, showing people how you make stew, and then people saying, oh, I really love how she makes ours. Okay, this is what I used to elevate it. Like, so I think that, are people even influencing anymore? Are you taking us along? So I think that that's super important, because then as a brand, people are seeing things to tap into, right? So when you have that, honestly, I think the very good influencers and the people who know what they are doing, they're always in jobs, like they're always doing things, because brands are always looking for authentic placements to sell their stuff. So I think pitching yourself, one. I think you even creating series, right? There are tons of series that people create on Instagram now where they just sort of like share this aspect of their life or share these things that they really enjoy. Creating series and just showing people what you truly enjoy. Brands are watching, brand managers are watching, consumer brands are watching to see what they can tap into. Another thing is co-creation, which is something that we want to, it's one of like our growths, the things we want to use to grow this year and beyond. Basically, we realize that at the end of the day, when it comes to hair, people buy into styles, people buy into finished looks. So working with people to co-create like a style for them, right? Seeing the structure, and what's the name of this company? Zephans & Co. They already do things like that in clothing, where they tap into someone like Osas to make a dress with. So people also want to sort of like tap into creations and like maybe launch limited editions of things. So I think the opportunities are like diverse. But first of all, you have to actually be an influencer for people to be able to tap into that.
Amazing conversation here. Because we are out of time, before the question and answer, I just want to ask this question in closing. For Lynda, Remy, and Ore, in your opinion, do you think the creative space in the media is doing well?
I think let's give them their flowers. I think we've come a long way.
Yeah.
I think we've come a very long way. And I think it's progress over perfection. Progress over perfection, because perfection is a destination, right? If I look, look at it. You've basically created a whole ecosystem. You have graduates who, they're not looking to get hired. They're not looking to work in a multinational. During my time, the biggest thing or the best thing that could happen to you was that you graduate and then a multinational, takes you on. I just hired 3 little, very young, 21-year-old content creators. They're not even interested in being converted to full-time staff. They are happy where they are. And then my assistant media manager, who has probably worked for the past 4 or 5 years, she came to me and she said, look at how much I'm paying this 21-year-old and, versus her salary. And I just had to explain to her that if you want to be a content creator, I will happily move you to that. And I told her, these are the opportunities, this is it. But you cannot compare yourself as a graduate recruit, whatnot in a structured versus these content creators. It will never be. And I told her, I said, look, even me, at some point, if they hone their skills, right, there will be a time where they'll probably be earning more than me. Very possible. Yeah. So I think let's give them their flowers. They have created a whole space. There's room for improvement, and I think Remy has touched on, the rooms for improvement. But yeah.
Have anything to say?
I think it's an amazing time to be anything, to be honest. Like even from like business point of view, like years or decades ago, like we won't be able to do any of the things that we are doing now, right? So I think it's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be selling anything or to be anything. And I think that this is just the starting point. Like think of what the next 10 years will be.
Amazing, excited. Do we have any questions? Okay, we have someone here. Can we give her a mic? Influencers, it's your time to ask questions.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Lynda. I head digital services for Business Day, and I'm really happy to finally meet, Tolu and Lynda. I've been following her for a while. But my question is, what keeps you going when things are not working as fast as you want? So you meet some content creator, and in like maybe 6 months or a year, you hear stuff like, I want to blow. you know. And then I followed Lynda for years, from Instagram to Creativity with T, and then from the advertising agency with Brand 365 and Lawrence. And I've seen that it wasn't magic. It's been at least 4 or 5 years, and it's been consistency. How do you encourage the young ones that it doesn't happen in 2-3 months, but that, you know, what they need to do to stay on, even when they are not seeing the whole money coming in from either Instagram or TikTok? What should they do to just continue? I think that's the word for them.
My answer to that is, you have to remember why you started in the first place. Passion. Do you love what you're doing? If you do not love it, don't do it. Go and look for a job. Not everybody should be a content creator or an influencer.
Absolutely.
It is not a sin to be a staff, to be working for a company. Not everybody can do it. So please, if you see that you're struggling too much with it, you don't wake up, like, there was a time I interviewed a Proco doctor and I said, you know, people keep saying you should be consistent. What do you think about that? He said, no, you shouldn't be consistent, you should be obsessed. And he was sick. There was a time he couldn't even see with his eyes and he needed to go for surgery, and he told himself, before I go for surgery, I need to do plenty content. He was not seeing, he was sick, but he had to. That's somebody that he lives for it. Do you get it? He's not doing it because he wants money. Because if you do it because you want money, you would crash. You wouldn't continue. So you need time for these things to manifest. So if you don't have strength to, you don't have that time to give, then you should do something else. Additionally, you should have something that you're doing on the side. She was talking about me starting live with Lynda, the blog. I was working when I was doing it. And even till now, I'm still working. And I'm still doing it. Do you understand? The time that we're in, everybody has to have multiple streams of income. But you have to put in the time and the effort. You talk about Viva Detergent now, Aspira and everything. Do you know how they found me? From my page. They sent me a message, the MD sent me a message, I want you to come and work with us. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I can consult. I consult for brands. No, I want you to come work with us. Give me your terms. Let me know how you. So I went into the company on my own terms because I have a page and a brand that people, that they found valuable and they feel like, no, if this girl is like this, she can do magic for us. And thank God I did some magic.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, so it's all about passion. Don't give up. If you love it, don't give up. Just keep going until it bears fruit. Or if you have to have some other things you do on the side to help you, you know, please do it.
Please do.
And then if you feel like it's not your calling, don't do it because you want to make money. You would just burn out. You get. There's nothing wrong with working, please.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Any more questions? Just taking one.
Okay.
We're out of time. Just one person. Give you the mic.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Olufumlola Dada, a business lead at one of the leading media agencies here in Lagos. And my question goes to especially Oreoluwa, because I resonate very well with the fact that we partner with a lot of brands. First off, I just wanted to first mention that whatever it is that we're doing, it's a given that nothing beats experience. No matter how much someone blows under 2 months, a year, they can't sit near someone who's been in it for a while. So really, that substance has to be there. So my question now is, at what point do we draw the line? Because this is especially for influencers. First of all, I stand to be corrected anyway, but I think I have a problem with that name. And then we've even gone ahead to like talk about the nanos, the micros, the macro, whatever that means, right? I've seen a lot of rate cards of these influencers, and I see those prices, and I fear that what makes them have the guts to charge that much? First of all, I'm doing this because Ore gave us the floor to shake tables, and that's what I'm doing right now, right? And like she had said, Remy had rightly said, being an influencer in lay terms is that you are representing something that you have been a part of over time. I dare to call an Ore an influencer in the marketing space because of your years of experience and having worked with different brands, and we can see, the results. Then she becomes an influencer after so many years of experience. But these days, what we see is someone is an influencer because of what they do, right? And when you see some content creators, please permit me to mention some names, right? Like Eli Wasabi, when he started, and then over time, we've seen how his content is always, engaging. And per post, you see about 6,000 to 12,000 comments. But when he does an ad, you might not even see up to 200. It started progressively where you will not even realize that it's an ad is doing until the end of the video. But all of a sudden, it has become, it's an ad, and people just scroll through and all of that. Now, as a marketing director, because I always have these challenges, especially for instance, you have a new product in GB Foods that you want to launch, and then probably you're given a budget, and then it's probably like under 6 months, they want to get this. That's where sales comes in. How do we, as partners, convince you as a marketing director that these things take time? Yes, we can create awareness, but for that product to grow and to grow consistently, it takes time. What you want to achieve in 6 months is something that you will probably achieve, rightly so, in 6 years. And then people want us to do magic, and then we come from the angle of consultancy, and then it's looking like, I know my brand more than you think you know. We are talking from the aspect of, this is what plays. And if you want it to stay for that long, it takes patience, a consistent, conscious building of that. That's where marketing comes in. Marketing is not magic. Like you said, the brand has to build a life of its own. But then the marketing director is saying, I have a target, I have this budget, I've been told that we have to do this. And then it might be successful in the first 2 months, then all of a sudden, you don't hear about the brand again or anything. So my question is, where do we draw that line? How do we now partner? Seeing us as consultants,
it's a public cake. So off. I think we get the question.
Yes.
We get the question. Already. Already can take that.
Thank you. I think she asked a very valid question, because we live this in our daily lives.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer it in different blocks because you asked like a 5-in-1. So I'll start by saying, yes, for someone like me, I have grown through the ranks. I have chosen the career path. And okay, I'm doing my bit, adding value day by day, moving from one role to another, all of that. Except something really bad happens. My income is consistent. I can chart my next 5 years. Now, for these influencers, macro, nano, micro, it's not the same for them. Their span is very short-lived. Very, very short-lived. Only a few of them can, last for a very long time. And that means they must be evolving at a very fast pace. So this is also what influences the cost and the amount that they charge. That's one, pack it. The second thing, they always say, seek to provide value. Seek to provide value. When you provide value, you can demand what you want to charge or what you're worth, basically. Many of them have actually put in the work. I'm telling you, when I see even just this 21, they're not influencers, they're just content creators, starters. These people, if they're trying to do a video of this place, they can climb on this table, they can go under. Before you know it, because of angles, they will say they're lying flat on the floor. It's a pity that we don't see the work these people put into. We just see a 30 seconds video. But I can tell you, I have spent time with some of these people, and they have put in the work. For those who have put in the work, they've placed a value. Okay, we can debate. Are they really worth that value? Some people, I see some rate cards, and I just say, no, I'm not going to pay this person for this, finish. So that's number 2, pack that. Now, number 3, when it comes to brands, you are right. I think a lot of brand custodians, whether product managers, brand managers, media managers, whatever, expect magic. But we have to understand that branding, marketing, product management is a funnel. It's a funnel. It's like a pyramid. It starts from awareness. After awareness, you have trial. After trial, you have conversion, right? So the truth is, people mix the different ladders together. Whatever you do, at the base of the success of anything is awareness. Are there cheaper ways to create awareness? Yes. And we need to begin to challenge that. And that's what I tell my team. It's not until you give me a 100 million plan or something of using 10 influencers and this and that and this and that. No. We need to challenge, the status quo. Someone asked a question that have content creators, are we doing better? Maybe we can do a bit more, especially the PR agencies. PR goes beyond just third-party reporting. When I say come and cover my event for PR, it goes beyond I'm just recording, I'm doing a video and I'm saying, oh, this did this. You have to look for the angle. What is going to go viral? A lot of things have gone viral without spending a dime. Yeah. Unfortunately, until you crack that, you are going to have to pay these influencers, content creators, whatever, the ridiculous amount to drive that brand awareness. Is it going to give you conversion? No. Your product has to deliver at the first moment of truth or second moment of truth. There has to be a brand affinity with consumers. You have to, if you are trying to get maybe a market share switch, whatever, you have to do better than what they currently use for them to convert to you. So there are a lot other things that go into play. But up until you are able to crack what it takes to drive the same thing that these people can drive, then we're going to be where we are. I don't know if that answers your question.
Can I just add something?
Okay, Lynda wants to add something.
Yes, I just want to add one more thing. She said something about brands coming to you and expecting sales. I think the influencers too should also be mindful of the jobs they take. Some people will come to you straight up and say, I want sales. You accept it and collect money and then say, I gave you awareness. It doesn't work like that. Just ask the person, what is your goal for this campaign? If it's sales and you feel you cannot deliver sales, please don't collect the job. But if you feel you can, yes, that's true. There are some people that can deliver sales. Like, for example, if I want to sell Buchi blenders, for example, I can tell you categorically that it was influencers that sold it. It was the influencers because they went to food bloggers and those people posted it and everybody, I bought Buchi blender because of them. It's true. So there are some things that are sales driven. So for Buchi blender then, they were not looking for awareness. They are looking for sales because they're a small company. They're not like GB Foods or Viva. Viva will even tell you, don't worry, what we want is for you to be able to give us likability, because when we came in, that was what we wanted. We had the quality, we had the sales, but we want the love, and that's what we were going for. But for small brands, it's not like that. They're not looking for awareness, they want sales. So look at it very well, ask the goals before you accept a job, because your integrity is much more important than the money. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you very much, powerful ladies. We've come to the end of the session. I hope it was informative. Let's take pictures.
Please, can we jam our hands together for them one more time? So they're going to